Hello, and welcome to another video from my survivalist YouTube channel, Sustenance and Covering. And yes, this is a survivalist YouTube channel. I've described it in the past as a survivalist/minimalist channel, but that's only so you know what I'm about, because it really is just about survival. Now, what sets this survivalist channel apart from the other ones is that we're not trying to learn how to survive a 1-month disruption in the food supply system. We're not trying to learn how to survive a 2-year economic collapse. See, in those situations, I could just show you how to store some food in some of them white plastic buckets, and you might be all right. Or in a little bit longer term, I could show you how to take care of chickens and have a garden, and that'd get you through till society got back on its feet. And in fact, I actually am going to make some videos about those things. However, this channel is about the end of the world as we know it, because that's where we're going. Recently, at a UN conference for indigenous peoples of the world, Elder Oren Lyons, one of the great leaders of the United States right now, got up and said, "Business as usual is over. Oil is over. Carbon is over." And you know what? He was right. You may choose to debate me on this. And in fact, there's an area directly below this video where you can type in any kind of silly comment that has been made by one of your favorite politicians or pseudoscientists. However, I do regularly check my emails, and when I see that someone's commented on my YouTube channel, I go straight to it. And if you are insisting on typing something stupid like that, I'll simply delete it and block you from this vital YouTube channel. Those guys are wealthy elitists. They'll do anything to make you believe that things are going to go on like they always have. They have plenty of forums to discuss this. This will not be one of them. Now, there are 2 lies that are being told. You need to know about them, because if you don't know about them, you may not survive. Your survival is not just dependent on having enough food to get by. You have to have an understanding of what food is, because one of the lies you've been told is that agriculture is the system by which humanity acquires food. This is a lie. It's a lie. And there's reasons I can explain to you why it's a lie. One thing is a forest. 1 acre of forest will always provide more food than 1 acre of agriculture of any kind. This has always been true. When societies are based on agricultural systems that are unsustainable, societies collapse. That's what happened with the Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans. The only thing that can survive is what's naturally here. An example of this would be an oak tree. 1 oak tree provides over 1,000 pounds of acorns every 2 years. And it has been said, and I've seen it in writing, more acorns have been eaten in North America than all of the rice, corn, and wheat combined. More acorns. That's a powerful statement. Now, the actual definition of agriculture is, it's a system by which the governments control the people. The governments are fallen. All the governments, not just the United States. Every government on earth is totally dependent on systems that are absolutely unsustainable. In the past, agriculture was where someone would go out, find out what kind of plants grew around there that they could eat, and they just dig up everything else so that those plants could take off. That was agriculture. Those systems were dependent on vast amounts of slave labor and good rainfall. The systems we have like that today are not like that. Not like that at all. Today, agriculture is basically going to some foreign country, finding a plant that you consider a superfood, super producer, bringing it back to this country, putting it in a laboratory and messing with it for a while, and then planting it where it don't belong. That brings us to the second lie we're told. We've been taught since birth that the earth is an ecosystem. This is a lie. The earth is a collection of thousands of ecosystems. And when you move one plant from one ecosystem to another ecosystem or an animal, the effects or consequences are always devastating. Mankind is the only thing that can move freely from one to the other, and if he's responsible, benefit wherever he goes. In fact, most plants that are beneficial when they're moved to another ecosystem simply die. Here's an example of that. I've planted tomatoes and cucumbers for years. Look around here. There ain't no cucumbers or tomatoes, because once they done, that's done. They ain't gonna come back. Tomatoes and cucumbers ain't from here. But anyways, other examples are when something does take off, when something that's totally useless gets planted, like Chinese privet or kudzu or popcorn trees. Those things grow everywhere, and all they do is displace the necessary plants that animals have to have. So the reason you got to understand this is if you're going into the end of this world and you've got your head set on I'm going to eat potatoes, if potatoes don't grow where you're at, you're in trouble. Because psychologists have done studies recently that show that when people perceive a food as unpalatable, they will actually starve to death before they'll eat it. It isn't always true, but sometimes it is. So if you're saying I will never eat acorns, and the area you live in, that's the only thing that grows naturally that you can eat, you got two choices. And it's not too late. Find out. Go online, whatever you got to do. Find out what your favorite food is and where it occurs naturally, and move there. I would suggest that you do that as quickly as possible, because there isn't too much time left, and you may need to learn another language and acclimate yourself, because it's been proven that when societies collapse, people that don't sound the same or don't look the same usually get killed off pretty quick. Now, your second choice, if you want to survive, is to find out what grows in the area where you live and learn how to like it, because that's what you're going to have. If you live here and all that's growing here that you can eat is acorns, you better learn how to eat acorns. Now, you'll find that there are a lot of other things that grow there. You're not going to be stuck with one food. So check into it. Go to a foraging website and see what grows around you. On my property, I've got an area that don't have trees, and I got cattails growing there. I did a little studying on it. Cattails actually, per acre, produce more flour than wheat on an acre. And you don't have to grind it up. With wheat, you got to grind it up into flour. Cattails, all you got to do is shake the pollen off and use it as flour. Another thing about cattails is you can come back tomorrow and there'll still be cattails, and you can come back in a year. You don't have to practice crop rotation with cattails. You're not going to have to pull them up and plant beans to replenish the soil. There are fields of cattails that I can remember as a child passing by that are still there. Be there forever. And the best thing about cattails is every time of the year has a different crop from it. When there's no more pollen, you can take your shoes off and walk through there and pull up the roots just with your bare feet. They taste just like potatoes. And they'll keep you can dig every one of them up and they'll still come back next year. Certain times of the year, shoots from the cattails are tender and taste just like corn. A delicious vegetable, something you could make a salad with or cook. And even the young seed heads, before they go to seed, are edible and delicious. And those are just two examples. Wherever you are, there's going to be things just like that. So learn what's around you, expand your taste buds, and survive.